1, 2, 3.
Hey, how's my human feeling?
I'm feeling better since I moved here. God, this country is so great. If you get past the problematic stuff and the language barrier, you'll definitely enjoy Japan.
You may say that to every country.
Don't forget to take off your shoes. So, what goodies did you bring to my house?
I brought some 360 games with me.
Jeez, how outdated are you? I'm just fucking with ya.
Only brought anything but racing games since you think they're all boring. That's a rather oversimplifying opinion, you know. You should try Mario Kart, no offense.
I blame myself for playing that one racer I only ever played. It had so shady graphics, but most of the tracks were too square or full of long straights, and the handling was dreadful. I forgot what it was called, but I know that Capcom made it.
Automortalista?
That's the game?
The Japanese version is better, but I don't have it. I'm in a mood to play something actually related.
Those eyes. Those golden eyes that give me grief. And fear.
Why is that?
It reminds me of Gordon, my late werewolf boyfriend. He was so nice to me since my time at the orphanage. It was unfortunate that he got killed by rival vampires. It also reminds me of your sister. Oh! I want to play that. That was like my favorite wrestling game.
Sure, that was some sort of whiplash. Here's some homoerotic stuff. A wrestling game? Pugh, where's my meme box? Wrestling is one of those things that keep coming back to me from time to time, like thinking about Japan or getting a job. I ain't gonna talk about the whole history of pro wrestling, or WWE, the Monday Night Wars, the fall of WCW, all that crap, cause we'll be here all day. So let's talk about Yuke's WWE games. Did you know that almost all the WWE 2K games are Japanese?
Thanks for spewing the fact that everyone knows.
It all started in 1993 where Yuke's was founded in Osaka, Japan by Yukinori Taniguchi, who actually had a racing career after that. Even before Smackdown 1, they didn't make wrestling games for the PlayStation since 1995, with Power Move Pro Wrestling or Tokyo Wrestling in Japan. While it was a licensed New Japan game, overseas you had to make original wrestlers because back then the promotion wasn't very well known. While they did dwell on other genres such as traditional fighting games, hack and slash, and even racing games fittingly, and dogs, is a genre now. They are primarily known for the WWE game, starting March 2000 with Smackdown 1, exclusive to the PS1. Then months later, seriously 8.5 months after its US release, Know Your Role was released around the same time as Zaki's No Mercy for the N64 and the failed abortion that was WCW Backstage Assault. I would add a meme clip here, but I don't want to be that annoying. Know Your Role, huh? What's next? Shut your O. This is a great improvement from the first game, which made owning that pointless outside of collecting. It was quite popular as well, meaning that THQ, the publisher, told it to make yearly entries, even after 2K bought the rights to the WWE brand after they went down. And so, a barrage of memorable WWE games came in the early to mid-2000s, like the PlayStation exclusive, for a time, Smackdown games, and the ones at the GameCube like Day of Reckoning and a few Wrestlemania games. I'll be looking at the 9th entry to the Smackdown series back when WWE had their first brand split, WWE SmackDown vs. Raw 2008, featuring ECW. Well, what a mouthful. That's what she said. I knew you would say that. I was thinking of doing 2K6, but because the season mode in my copy has worked, I had to do compromises. Yes, 2006 was the start of the series using the time year gimmick that most sports games have, meaning that it will become stale, which made Yuke's give up on it after 2K19, which then led to Visual Concepts taking the realm, and the rest is history. But back to 2K8. This is of course released in late 2007 for loads of systems, also becoming the first game this year to be on the PS3, the Wii, and the DS. Took them long enough. Now, I have the PS2 version here, but I recently bought a 360 one as well. The valley bezels are haunting me once again. They're the same game, have the same modes, same everything, which the same cannot be said about the Wii version. It's just that the latter has improved graphics, I think, and runs at a higher resolution and widescreen. I don't like how the PS2 version doesn't let you play that way, and I know you love that kind of shit. So here's me reviewing the 360 version. Manual and text in Spanish, that commentary team weren't available at the time. I don't think they'll ever be. I'm gonna warn you, there's gonna be a lot of comparisons to 2006 and not, say, 2007. It's because I don't own that and this is the best I can get, so I really hope you get used to it. Right off the bat, the loading to the title screen is a lot quicker than in 2006 and even the PS2 version didn't wait. None of that memory card bullshit after booting up. Just a couple of loading screens, the usual copyright cuffs, skippable intros, and boom, select your storage device and here we go! The game has many match types, not only the standard ones, but also hardcore, Buried Alive, Steel Cage, Hell in a Cell, Submission, Ultimate Submission, TLC, Battle Royale, Elimination Tag, Royal Rumble. I am so overwhelmed. I'm just gonna do a quick singles match. Here's the roster. Let's see who died after the game was out. Oh fucking hell, Ashley died? That's a really morbid surprise. Anyway, obviously the roster consists of current WWE stars at the time, like the Hurricane, an Egghead, Mary Stu Cena, Shitty Wrestler, and Chris Masters. Who could forget Chris Masters? Look, sorry for piling up on Sandman there, he's very influential at old ECW, but come on. There are some exclusions due to hiatus, rehab, moving to TNA, or whatever, like The Big Show, Chris Jericho, Kurt Angle, and Chris Benoit, because of course he hasn't hair. Look at this. I really despise these airbrushed looks. Some wrestlers look too clean, it's revolting. And somehow I thought they just put Terry Funk 3 times. Speaking of, I feel like there isn't enough wrestlers in the game. That's because there's only 53 superstars, which is 10 less compared to 2006. It may not seem a big decrease, but you can tell by how small the number of ECW stars is, as well as noticing the shrinkage of legends. It's probably the fall of WWE and how a few big name wrestlers quit the company for a while. Well, at least you have standard Roddy Piper instead of this. Let's start a match from Pepsi Cobra Man against the only ECW legend to appear in the next 2 games. Yeah, fuck you, Sabu. As we all know, entrances are not only the most important part of the game, but of wrestling as well. At least that's what this guy thinks. Jokes aside, first impressions are everything, so the entrances are the first time you witness the graphics. You don't just bring it, I've been misled by the intro! Here? Can I just say that these graphics look better than in the recent games? I know, cheap shot, but they do. In the 360 version especially, the models are very well detailed despite the faces looking odd when they move. But aside from that, it's really sad that the wrestlers look better here than, say, 2K14. Is that Jericho or Bret Halligan with bleached hair? Maybe I'm being too harsh on the recent games as I bash 2K14. Let's see how 2K3 looks at it. Nope. Year re-releases were a mistake. Although why does it look like it doesn't have any shadows in the 360 port? The PS2 version has darker yet sharper shadows than this. I get they were trying to make it look like the actual taping/live broadcast of the shows, but still, it makes the wrestlers look like they're floating. By God, the bloom! The entrances, they look fine. I mean, I can commend the effort they did to replicate their entrances, even if a few were changed like Sandman. Don't want to make that board heavily just yet. And speaking of Sandman... Hey, that's that Enter Sandman, I want a refund! Son is pretty alright, he captures the authenticity of a wrestling show in the US.
Would I miss tonight for the world? No way!
Well, the bell sound certainly isn't the same as WWE used, but that's just a nitpick on my part. For some reason the cheers just fade out after doing a submission, and then it gets up again instantly.
Mostly crook.
Love how every final hit from a finisher needs to be shown 4 times and then someone shooting a sniper rifle at the last shot for some reason.
This match is
Holy balls, Mahoney! And what you listen to these guys sound like Lex Luger.
Come on, kid. Some momentum at the same time. I was... we waiting for?
Music isn't played during the matches, just on the menu, the entrances, and match epilogues. This isn't 2004 anymore, but hey, you can still listen to some commentary, mostly later from SVR06.
This capacity crowd is solidly behind their superstar. Look at this.
Wow, could you be any more biased, JR? How about some fair and balanced commentary?
Though there are new lines from The King, Taz, JR, and fuckhead Michael Cole, mostly on the wrestlers not included in that game, and they still deliver such great enthusiasm. Big problem? JBL's really not give a shit about what's happening.
Come on, ref. That should have been a disqualification right there.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda. Bottom line is, it ain't. These superstars have been giving it everything they've got all night.
They sure have.
These superstars give everything they've got when they're in a match like this, but a lot of people don't realize what they sacrifice behind the scenes, too.
Shame, because he doesn't usually sound bored in the actual matches. I mean, he sounded a bit monotone, but he still gave a shit. Joey Styles is good at least. He doesn't have the screeching voice every time he sees something spectacular, which is pleasant.
It looks like there's a beating of the minds going on in there right now. Oh my god, what a chair shot!
Back to music, there's only 3 rap songs in the menu, as the rest is all hard rock and metal stuff. While I don't know most of these artists, I recognize one of the songs. I think I talked about presentation enough. Huh? I don't remember The Undertaker when he attended WC. Oh wait, that's the Invasion version of WCW. Now, do keep in mind that I'm in uncharted territory here. While I played SVR06 before and reviewed some fighters like Dota 2 and Street Fighter UX3, those last 2 are fast-paced arcade fighters which take less than a minute per round to win. Here, it's a slow simulation-y wrestling game where the fights take longer and by default, you must damage your opponent enough to get a successful pin. For controls, you move with the left stick, you grab with the right stick, X for strikes, B for Irish whip, left shoulder to run, Y for your finisher once the momentum bar is full, and the trigger is out for your reversals. Oh gosh, it's all blinking you'll miss. I kept mashing the right trigger expecting the fellow to grab me, and in these ground pounds where I'm on the receiving end, I kept mashing the left trigger, most of the time failing. It's a mess that fucks my mind up. Is my controller broken? No, I just have a bad reaction time. Like I said, you can grapple using the right stick, but holding the right shoulder and using the right stick can initiate different grappling moves, such as ultimate control grapples, which you press RB and left or right to capture them, where you can move with your opponents and choose which way to hurt them. In 2006, when doing a submission move, you have a short period of time to either mash the button to move the little arrow to the give up sign, or to shake that bar to not let the opponent escape. Here, the giving hand has to move the right stick to strangle a part of their body and release it before they get exhausted, while the receiving end must move or shake the same stick to try unlocking the pad to escape. I thought I had to keep spinning the stick when wrenching. Now I know why my guy gets exhausted quickly. Still, as I only have a short time window to try skin people for the AI wrenches, it's really frustrating. Submission is just a matter of luck to me as before. Much like SVR06, filling this bar by attacking the opponents, taunting them, or doing a successful high dive move after pumping up the audience will give you a finisher, but you can also store that half of the bar to one of their fighting styles you chose. Each style have a main and a few secondary abilities, with the form of being activated by pressing Y and right shoulder button at the same time. For example, a technical fighter can automatically reverse any move an opponent gives them when the symbol is highlighted and the bar is full, as well as doing fake Irish whips and automatic strong grapple reversals, only when they don't have any limb damage. I love how a dirty player can just zoom onto the referee to argue like they're Akuma. Be wary as our AI opponent tend to activate your main ability right after storing it. Well, it's not as annoying as being down. Fucking hell, the game tells me to tap the button to get up, but it feels like placebo. I kept thinking that my controller is failing or something, and I really hate tapping buttons with this controller. But that's because this play and charge cable tends to disconnect if I move it. I tried cleaning the battery compartment contacts, but it still doesn't work, so I have to rely on this malfunctioning cable until I get an actual wired controller, and they're still expensive on the used market. I'm getting sidetracked, I know, but it irritates me that the developers think tapping buttons is the way to go. If it's actually doing anything anyway. Good luck trying to get up when the opponent's about to do a high dive move or your limbs are red. Tapping buttons is also important for getting out of grappling attacks. Great, gotta break my control even more somehow. I'm starting to think this game isn't for me. I shall get back to baby games like Mortal Kombat. Olina, career highlights, women's champion. Riveting. Oh, but let's continue. There isn't just singles, there's also these tag matches, either 2v2, 3v3, or handicap. That makes me wish I was strictly a singles person in 24/7 mode. I don't like how difficult tagging your mate is. You have to be precise to make the tag, otherwise you just leave the ring. God, I wish they make the tagging area big enough to not keep me thinking I pressed the wrong button. Let me tag! Of course, there's a usual second opponent coming in to stop the pin, so you have to hurt that other one to win without a kick out. It is expected, but it's also annoying. Plus, you have triple threats, fatal 4-ways, battle royals, and the Royal Rumble. Much like the real deal, you have to stay in the ring as much as possible, as well as eliminating opponents that keep piling up one by one. Well, up to 6. The free Sassy can handle more than that for some reason. Shouldn't this be like just bringing on the PS2? And how do you eliminate them? By mashing buttons at the opponent on the side, push them off. Remember to know your role when you can just... I get it, you want this game to have some challenge, a bit like the pay-per-view match, but it makes the pacing a bit slower and annoying. Not even a strong Irish whip is enough at times.
And the opponent, from Detroit, Michigan, weighing 265 pounds, the alpha male, Marcus Corvan.
Oh wow, he calls himself the alpha male? No wonder his career ended 2 months before the game was out. I might come off as being against the game, but the matches are really well paced. It is so much fun to beat up an asshole into submission or a KO by a bunch of finishers. Yeah, the moves might look awkward with the size difference and high flying moves, but the execution is what really matters. It's satisfying getting a 3-count pinfall, doing a successful finisher without getting reversed, or popping the audience on top of the turnbuckle and attacking with a high flying move afterwards to fill that momentum to the max. Plus, many different stipulations and alternate match types that don't involve covering your opponent add a lot of variety. It's annoying to see a loading screen before the victory cutscene though. Unfortunately, this is an FMW game, so the divas don't participate in more violent matches like Hardcore, Hell in a Cell, and stuff. Women are delicate, am I right? Oh, and remember intergender matches?
No! No! How can the referee allow something like that?
Well, let's check out the other modes. Ever since the 90s, wrestling games have become a staple in creativity, especially with its Creator Wrestler feature. It has been improving with other modes and new problems. 2008's Creative Suite isn't too shabby. It still has the famous cow, somewhat overhauled compared to 2006, but it's still very deep and easy to understand. Probably not as deep as Saints Row 2, but still deep. Now, what should I make as an example? Do me! You used to be a wrestler? Yep. Well, not in this outfit. I just really like one of Paige's outfits. I looked more like Alondra Blaze back then. 8 straight years, most of them being part of the only wrestling federation since 1993. OWF are basically the New Japan of hell. And the women's division? Whew, just as good as today. Different from US wrestling. No silly character gimmicks and all. In the indies, I used to be the flamboyant Letitia, a sex worker character. But in the OWF, I'm just Letitia, with a standard attire. While I was so agile and very acrobatic, I was more of a technical type. I like to see people suffer with my submission moves. And the OWF is perfect for me. Since no powers is allowed, I had to pour cold water to my face and disable them for an hour. I like a fair challenge, even if the outcomes are predetermined. Then I went to boxing and was beaten up like a jobber. Then I went to the MMA scene, which I got off easily, although that was while I was working for the HEF. But that's a long story. You don't seem like you have any personality, do you? I look at you more as a final test than a person. That's rather dehumanizing. I still can't believe you're living in my mind rent-free, literally. Let me just do a few wrestlers, but what bar are you? I knew you would ask me that. My favorite, the original Hershey Riley. White, red, and black highlights. You have massive options to modify the head and body, from color to shapes, which can lead from recreations that can fall into Uncanny Valley, to ridiculous cartoony designs like it's the pre-NWO period, as well as a basic tattoo editor which is not a lot like Forza indeed. I think I made it look like the bastard child of Pam Shep and Rhea Ripley. The clothing options are similar to SR2 with its layers feature, although they tend to get under the tattoos if we don't change the order. I know this was released before that, but that's the only other non-wrestling guy I can think of that gives you clothing layers. Oh man, no shoulders? Nope, just this bling, bitch. And if you don't like it, I have 2 words for you. Same, bruh. Look, I made Vinny Vegas one of Kevin Nash's personas before joining WWF. After that, you get to pick a voice, if it's a guy, match specialty, abilities, and fan posters if you like. Write a name, pick a promotion, and choose how the announcer would call you, and voila! There aren't any eyes that resemble yours, so are you fine with white pupils have a white sclera? Close enough. After that, you get to change every single move from not only their set, but even those from official wrestlers. And the same can be applied to the entrances, so you can have Edge move like Melina. Hey, every man has a feminine side, and those who claim they don't are just insecure, babe. Glad you can preview the entrance while you edit at the same time, save the hassle of enjoying the loading screens. Oh hey, in the 360 version you can use the ripped songs from CDs as entrance themes. You just have to make a playlist of one song you want. Odd that the game has Drowning Pool's Smackdown theme, but not their infamous song for ECW. Oh well, here's some nostalgia bait, you bastards.
The following contest is scheduled for one fall.
This is my PlayStation 2.
Hey, don't cut away from me! Oh, but it doesn't end there. You could create championships, edit stables, but not PPVs this time, and create an arena instead in someone's imagination. But still, you can cause a lot of chaos with this game, and it's lovely. Game modes sound generic, has a few features like tournament modes, which is where you find a tournament, go figure. Well, at least you can make your own. The WWE shop where you get to buy legendary wrestlers, alternate outfits, movesets, all that. Some have to be unlocked at Hall of Fame mode, which is really frustrating since most of the matches are in legend difficulty. This one, you must get the GM of the Year award as general manager in 24/7 mode, so you can buy Vince McMahon as the playable character, as if winning matches and doing activities wasn't enough of a slog. Winning these HOF challenges are also the key to unlock new arenas. Remember when you can unlock the Wrestlemania arena by completing season mode in 2006? I mean, I love a good challenge, but not that much. Anyways, here's 24/7 mode. It replaces both season mode and general manager mode, although it's very similar to the two. You can either play as GM, an actual wrestler, or a cow, either with the original or rookie stats also. As a CAW, you have to do these warm-up matches with specific stipulations before getting any airtime in the main shows. After that, you get this cutscene where Vince introduces you to the company in such an enthusiastic yet still asshole reminder. As a rookie WWE star, you get this right away.
You're gonna have to beat the best. The best from Raw and the best from Smackdown. And this year, I'm bringing back the Tribe of Extreme. The new breed will be on the leash. Because I'm bringing back ECW.
Soon to be NXT. Here you get to train yourself and attend matches, as well as doing activities to boost your popularity and doing interviews which can change the outcome of a story. I would like to play as this or a lady, but this is WWE in the 2000s. The divas weren't taken seriously and were just here to please Jerry Lawler's you know what, so no story mode for them. So that's why I can't give them a voice. It annoys me that I can only have one save file per career. Hey, at least I have 2 USB sticks in case. Well, what else? Oh yeah, there's online multiplayer. Which I guess no one plays anymore. So what, is that it? SVR 2K8 is an alright game. It surely doesn't beat 2K6, but it's an enjoyable game to play with simplified mechanics and more button mashing. Yeah, that's pretty much what I have to say. I tend to rush the ending of the review because I really wanted this to be over. I'm actually not that much of a wrestling game fan, as you can plainly tell. Though I like to play them casually and admire the creator wrestler feature. Other than that, I just stick to my guns. I'm so sorry for sucking at this game. Despite years of playing these, I'm still not familiar with its gameplay.
Don't worry about it. At least you explained the game well. Hey, I wondered if you would like to watch New Japan with me.
I'm not sure if I'm gonna get the storylines, but I'm down with it.
That's great! I'm gonna go buy some drinks for us. See ya!